So I began teaching online in the 1990s. And that was at a time when there was a great deal of resistance to online education. But universities looked at online education and provided mandates to faculty saying, this is a moneymaker. We're gonna do something with this. They might have thought, oh, this is a benefit to the students, but really they were looking for finances. And it's interesting that 20, 25 years later, we're still doing the same things where we're trying to find the money. Many of the institutions that originally went towards MOOCs thought, oh, you know, you put 100,000 people into a course and you're going to make a lot of money. Well, if they had looked back at what had happened with online education and saw that many of the institutions that went to this route just for funding basically said, you know what, it's not a moneymaker necessarily. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of stress on the faculty. The students don't necessarily like it as well as we thought they would. They don't engage. They don't want to be in that environment. And they eventually backed off and became, a lot of institutions today, because they started in online, they're now more of a blended approach. They saw that there were benefits there. The faculty and the students saw the benefits, but to capitalize on those, they've moved to more of a blended environment. So the things that we learned from online education, I think benefit education. That's why I think there's things in MOOCs that, even though I'm not a huge fan of MOOCs, I think there are things that will benefit education greatly. From online education, we learned that students needed to be engaged, that because we couldn't see their faces, in the 90s, we were doing everything text-based. There wasn't a lot of video. There wasn't, you know, I wasn't able to reach out to my students and talk to them. I had to, you know, text and do, at the most, audio PowerPoints. It became very important that they were engaged with one another. It became clear to me that it wasn't just me that they needed to be engaged with or the content, but as Michael Gray Moore from Penn State talked about, there was the third component of student-to-student, learner-to-learner engagement, and that is the most important thing I think we've learned from online. And I think it's the thing that can benefit education today as we look at classrooms. Today, at Berkeley, for example, in our undergraduate classes, huge number of students. How do you engage students with one another when you look out into a sea of 400, 600,000 faces? And I think the online environment is a way to do that, to provide an extension of the classroom, to annex, if you will, the classroom, and use that, the student engagement area or whatever. Even if you're in a face-to-face class at that moment, even to be able to use that online environment, right there and then, even though you're face-to-face, to say, I know there's hundreds of you out there and I can't even see all your faces, but let's get together in this environment and discuss something. And then I go on with my lecture or I go on with the activity. So this idea of blending everything that we know together really, really is attractive to me, really makes a lot of sense to me.